UFC 324 is right around the corner, and here are my last minute predictions. Sorry I haven't been posting very recently. I genuinely got locked out of my account, and it may or may not have been hacked. I had to change a lot of things around. But starting out with the early prelims on this card, we have Mayron Santos versus Muhammad Naimov. I'm picking Mayron Santos. I think he's a very good, well-rounded fighter. I think he's a little better than Muhammad Naimov, and he's so big for the weight class it hits really, really, really hard. Next up, we have middleweight Mansour Abdul Malik, relatively quick turnaround, versus Antonio Tricoli. Why is Antonio Tricoli still in the UFC? This is going to be a massacre for Mansour Abdul Malik. He's going to absolutely run through Antonio Tricoli. This is a layup fight, a gimme fight, just so we can justify giving him even better competition. Next up, we have Iwo Baraniski. I don't know how to say his name. He's making his debut against Ibo Aslan. This guy's not bad. I'm still picking Ibo Aslan just because Ibo Aslan is damn near ranked level as a fighter. He's right beneath the rankings. I think he fucks up most of the division who aren't ranked, and this guy's no different. If this was a guy who wasn't Ibo Aslan he was debuting against, I'd pick him. But it's just such a huge ass to debut against such a powerful hitter in Ibo Aslan when you're only 6-0. Next up, we have Jalen Turner making his return against Edson Barboza, and I think he's going to flatline KO Edson Barboza. He's going to end Edson Barboza's career. It's going to be very sad. Barboza's going to hang shit up because Turner's going to let them nuts hang on his fucking forehead. It's going to be bad. Disgusting KO early in the fight. The man needs the money. Next up at middleweight, headlining the early prelims, we have Bruno Ferreira versus Marvin Vettori. I'm picking Bruno Ferreira, and I think he's getting this done by armbar submission. This man's submission work is disgusting. It's going to be a very fun back and forth barn burner on the feet, but the moment this hits the ground, there's a clear difference in between the two. Vettori prioritizes control and getting to positions. Bruno Ferreira is a submissions artist, and unless you have the jiu-jitsu of an Abbas Magomedov, who's one of the better jiu-jitsu practitioners in the entire division, who's able to use his size and length to wrap up positions and hold those down, Bruno Ferreira is going to armbar you, he's going to triangle you, he's going to transition to whatever the fuck he wants because he's a nationally ranked black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and a national champion in Judo. He's a world-class judoka with a world-class Jiu-Jitsu pedigree. He is an absolute monster on the ground, and that's how he's able to get a lot of his fights won by submission, and it opens up his hands because he's a very powerful hitter. But I don't think it's really possible to KO Marvin Vettori. But Bruno Ferreira has some disgusting jiu-jitsu, and I think his jiu-jitsu is going to be on full display as he submits Marvin Vettori with an armbar. Moving on to the preliminary section of this card, we have Fares Ziam versus Nazim Sadyakov. This is a really hard one to pick. Fares Ziam is really, really good, and so is Nazim Sadyakov. I think this is going to be a tit-for-tat, boring 29-28 decision for Fares Ziam. I'm trying not to think too deeply into it. Fares Ziam beat Jai Herbert. And Nazim Sadyakov got pieced up by Vyacheslav Borshov. Granted, he did rock him and almost knock him out in round 2, and then he got handled for the rest of the fight. Genuinely. It's Borshov. Why aren't you taking him down? He has negative takedown defense. And Fares Ziam is way more willing to mix things up in a fight. Like when he's going against Jai Herbert and is getting tit for tat, so he just straight strength mogs him on the ground. It's going to be a very fun, technical, tit for tat kind of fight. Like an average Basharat brother fight. I think Sadyakov's going to have to do too much to get not enough ground, giving Fares Ziam more space to work with. I think he's winning that fight. Next up, we have Macy Barber versus Karine Silva. I don't know why people are picking Macy Barber. Karine Silva's way fucking better. She's going to wrap her up and knee bar her in the first round. She's going to fuck up Macy Barber on the feet. Macy Barber is going to charge forward with a dog shit takedown. Karine Silva is going to actually pull guard, roll through it, and get her knee. People are talking about Karine Silva like she didn't enter the UFC on like a 5-fight knee bar streak. Not heel hook, but knee bar. Was just knee barring bitches left, right. She's going to rip Macy Barber's knee off the fucking bone. It's actually bad. This might be the moment where we see Macy Barber transition to OnlyFans, because she's going to get shown levels specifically on the ground. Karine Silva is a ground specialist and one of the best in the division to do it. If you're not on her level, she will either dominate you on the ground or she will rip your knee off right off the fucking bone. I'm taking Karine Silva to win this by knee bar. I think this is the freest pick on the card. Next up, we have Terrence McKinney versus Chris Duncan. I'm picking Terrence McKinney. Terrence McKinney straight up has been saying, he's not going to hang out on the feet with Chris Duncan. He's just going to take him down. And if he just goes out there and shoots takedowns early, he's going to absolutely wrap up Chris Duncan in like 105 seconds. Genuinely. Like, we keep forgetting, like, this is the dude who just absolutely subbed for SZM with little resistance. He's a phenomenal wrestler. He has disgustingly good jiu-jitsu. And he's so powerful that early on, you have to pick Terrence McKinney. He might be the best fighter in the world for the first minute of a fight. For the first 2 or 3 minutes of a fight, he might be the very best fighter in the world. Terrence McKinney brings this ungodly storm that you have to weather. And while I've seen Chris Duncan weather storms, I've also seen Manuel Torres execute him. I think Terrence McKinney hits harder than Manuel Torres. I think Terrence McKinney is much better on the ground than Manuel Torres. I think Terrence McKinney is going to go out there, take down Chris Duncan, and wrap him up immediately into the fight. He's not playing games with these niggas anymore. Rear naked choke, a minute into the fight, just crushes Chris Duncan's jaw and forces him to tap. And headlining the prelims, we have Manuel Torres versus Grant Dawson. Manuel Torres by cartel execution. Manuel Torres fights like a cartel enforcer. Like, you've been talking crazy on the gang and now you gotta go. I'm taking Manuel Torres to win this by brutal knockout early. I just don't think Grant Dawson has the durability to take the power off of Manuel Torres, and I don't think he has the raw technique to not get hit by it. Like, Grant Dawson's a really good fighter. He's not that good. He's a decently well-rounded fighter. He's not that decently well-rounded. If his takedowns aren't working, he has to go with you on the feet. And anybody who gets flatline KO'd by Bobby Green can literally never be trusted. I can never trust your chin if you're getting flatline KO'd by Bobby Green. Bobby Green rarely ever KO'd people in his prime, let alone with one punch a minute into a fight. I get it was a weird punch from a weird angle. Nigga, it was a jab. It was a jab. Get the fuck out of here. I'm choosing Manuel Torres to absolutely execute this man in the first round. And that leads us to the main card. We have a nice 5-fight main card. Champions in literally every fight. This is the best pay-per-view possible to end the pay-per-view era on. And I'm so glad to be a fan of the sport at this time. Opening up the main card, we have Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov. And I wanted to choose Guskov because Blachowicz is old. He's slower than I've ever seen him. It doesn't matter. Even Jan Blachowicz at 50 is going to beat the shit out of Bogdan Guskov, because Bogdan Guskov is technically never going to be on the level to pose a threat to Jan Blachowicz. He's tough, He hits hard. He has good boxing. Jan Blachowicz is better. His raw Muay Thai is some of the best in the entire fucking sport. His leg kicks, the thickness of his shins is too much for a man like Bogdan Kuskov to deal with. I'm choosing Jan Blachowicz either by late round KO or by decision. And then he hangs it up because he straight up said he's getting too old for this shit. And I'm going to probably be in tears. Next up, we have Henry Cejudo versus Peyton Talbot. Now, Henry Cejudo is going to retire too. And as much as I don't want to see it, I think Peyton Talbot's going to KO him. I think Peyton Talbot's going to knock Henry Cejudo out with a left hook. Out cold. Brutally. Like, people point to the Howney Barcelos fight, but that was simply because Peyton Talbot straight up didn't want to. He's going to be on the gas. He's going to be moving forward. He's going to be cage cutting and taking away defense. He has crazy power, lightning fast hands, great timing, and I can just see him timing a blitz and catching Henry Cejudo directly on the chin. Now, I will say, part of me thinks that Henry Cejudo flatline KOs Peyton Talbot. Because I was rewatching the Song Yadong fight. The punches Henry Cejudo was hitting Song Yadong with, I don't know if any other bantamweight on the planet will survive that. Cejudo still got it, and he's a live dog. But I have to lean towards Talbot, because Talbot fights like Thanos. Just this inevitable force who's coming at you. And now that he's fights with a much more of a sense of urgency, I think it's gonna be really, really bad news for people fighting Peyton Talbot. Next up at flyweight, we have Brandon Moreno versus Tetsuro Taira. I'm picking Tetsuro Taira. People are making it way too complicated. Tetsuro Taira has dominant grappling. When he gets to his position, you're not going anywhere. He's gonna get to his positions in 2 to 3 rounds and stay there for 2.5 to 3 minutes of those rounds and win a 29-28 decision. Clear as day. Competitive on the feet. Moreno's there to be hurt. His head movement's questionable, and yeah, when he sits down on those punches, they can have some sting to it. But I think Taira has enough pop in his hands to get respect from Moreno, and I don't think we're dealing with a Amir Albazi situation where he's just a fraudulent contender. No, Taira's the legit real deal. I'm picking Taira to win this by convincing decision. Also, Taira literally only beats up Mexicans. It's kind of ridiculous. At this point, this nigga actually might be racist. Moving on to the co-main event, we have Joshua Van versus Alexandre Pantoja, and I'm picking Joshua Van. This hurts me to do because I'm a huge Pantoja fan, but I'm also a pretty big Van fan too. This is like your parents fighting. You just don't want to see it happen, but it has to happen. So I'm picking Van because I don't trust in Pantoja's conditioning to hold up over Joshua Van. Like, Brandon Royval very convincingly won that 5th round against Pantoja. Steve Erceg had a close round 5 against Pantoja. I'm just saying, if is Joshua Van in those situations when Pantoja's already redlined himself for 20 minutes and he has nothing left in the tank and he's praying to get things and he can't get those things, it's not going to be Royval throwing out those little light shots with no real setup trying to hit you. It's going to be Joshua Van combination boxing, putting together 2s and 3s and hooks behind it. I think he's going to win by a disgusting TKO at the end of round 4 and become the UFC flyweight champion and the 2nd youngest champion in UFC history. I'm picking Joshua Van to win this by TKO in round 4. I think Pantoja will gas himself out and then get finished. And in the main event, we have Merab Dvalishvili versus Petr Yan, and I'm picking Merab because no matter how hard Petr Yan trains, no matter how much Petr Yan does, he will stylistically always be at a disadvantage against Merab Dvalishvili. I think Yan will have a much better account of himself this time out. I think he's going to easily win the first 2 rounds. Honestly, the first 2 rounds. At first, I was thinking the first round, but no, the first 2 rounds. But at the end of the day, no matter how dicey things get on the feet for Merab, because Jan always keeps such a tight high guard, which he's been having a wider stance recently, and keeping a long guard, he has all the tools to win this fight. He's just not going to. Because he keeps such a tight high guard, Merab will always have access to his hips. No matter how crazy things get, Merab does not set up takedowns, he just shoots them. And he will always have access to Jan's hips, because Jan keeps such a tight high guard that he's just giving his hips to whoever's trying to grapple him. And if you're someone like Jan, you're not going to gas yourself out. Someone like Merab, you're not going to gas yourself out failing takedowns. It's built into the game plan that you're going to fail takedowns. So he will always have the ability to reset a striking exchange and reset something in the striking realm by just failing a takedown, because he can afford to do it. No one else in the sport can afford to do it. In the history of the sport, can afford to fail 49 takedowns back to back. But Merab can. It's inhuman, and I think that inhuman pace is going to genuinely melt Jan in rounds 3, in rounds 4, in rounds 5, and Merab will win a competitive 48-47 decision. Maybe a random 49-46 thrown in there, and we kind of need Merab to win because, well, now we know we have the Holloway fight in March, but we have nothing in February. Yeah, no, we have 2 numbered cards in January, nothing really in February, nothing in March, and if Jan wins, he's going to take a lot of damage. He's not going to be able to defend the belt until at least April, and I think April's pushing it. It's probably going to be till like June where we see the rematch. If Merab wins, he's just going to turn back around in April against the winner of O'Malley versus Yadong. It is going to be a beautiful, beautiful thing to see, truly. So I'm picking, in the main event, Merab Dvalishvili to win this fight by unanimous decision. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.